In an age when the Catholic Church ruled Europe in the name of heaven, one man ruled England in the name of desire. King Henry VIII, the formidable Tudor monarch, found his reign teetering on a precipice. He was married to the devout Catherine of Aragon, a union that had spanned 2 decades. Yet, after years of fervent prayers and political maneuvering, their marriage had failed to produce what the king craved most: a son, an heir to secure his throne and continue his dynasty. His legacy felt as fragile as a whisper in the wind. The future of England itself seemed to hang in the balance. And then, into this court of simmering tension and unspoken anxieties, temptation arrived. She walked into the royal court, a vision unlike any other, and Boleyn was not just another lady-in-waiting, draped in silks and whispers. She possessed an electrifying presence. With eyes that held both intelligence and ambition, she was beautiful, yes. But it was her sharp wit and unshakable confidence that truly set her apart. She understood the games of power being played around her, and she knew her own value within them. The king, accustomed to deference and immediate gratification, was utterly captivated. He watched her, enchanted, his obsession growing with each passing day. He offered her everything a king could offer: women, jewels, titles, a place by his side. But Anne refused to be his mistress, a position held by many before her, including her own sister. With a calm resolve that stunned the court, she delivered her ultimatum: "I will be no man's mistress, only his queen." This declaration set the stage for a monumental clash. To marry Anne, Henry needed to end his marriage to Catherine, an act strictly forbidden by the Catholic Church. An annulment required the Pope's approval, a papal dispensation that seemed impossible to obtain. Catherine was the aunt of the Holy Roman Emperor, Charles V, whose armies held Rome itself. The Pope was effectively his prisoner. Letters flew back and forth between England and the Vatican, each carrying the weight of a kingdom's future. The bells of England's churches rang out, their chimes a constant reminder of the spiritual authority that held Henry in check. But the king's love, now a raging inferno of desire and frustration, was transforming into open rebellion. He would not be denied, and heated confrontations with his most trusted advisers and the highest bishops of the land. Henry's resolve hardened. He saw the Pope not as a spiritual guide, but as a political barrier. In a moment of world-altering defiance, he declared, "No man in Rome will rule my heart, or my crown." With those seismic words, Henry VIII shattered 1,000 years of tradition. He severed England's ties to the papacy, dismantling the religious foundation of his nation. He established the Church of England, appointing himself as its supreme head. Monasteries were dissolved, and the wealth of the church was seized. A new religious and political order was born. All for love, all for Anne. At last, they were married. Anne Boleyn, the woman who had dared to demand a crown, now wore one. She was crowned Queen of England in a lavish ceremony, the cheers of the crowd echoing through the halls of Westminster Abbey. Soon after, she gave birth. But the child was not the son Henry had risked everything for. It was a daughter, a princess named Elizabeth. The king's joy was tempered with bitter disappointment. As the years passed without a male heir, the cracks in their legendary romance began to show. Love, once a consuming fire, started to cool into ash. Henry's frustration mounted, his temper growing more volatile. Their passionate debates turned into furious arguments, echoing through the cold stone corridors of the palace. And, once the object of his adoration, became the target of his wrath. Then came the whispers, insidious and deadly, spreading through the court like a plague. Accusations, born of political rivalry and the king's desperate need for a new wife who could give him a son, began to circle in. Betrayal, witchcraft, treason. The charges were as shocking as they were baseless. They were lies, carefully crafted by her enemies who saw an opportunity in the king's waning affection. But in Tudor England, a king's word was law, his suspicion a death sentence. Anne was arrested and taken to the Tower of London, the very place where she had awaited her coronation just 3 years earlier. On a cold, foggy morning in May of 1536, Anne Boleyn climbed the scaffold. She faced her, and not with fear, but with a quiet dignity that silenced the gathered crowd. Her final words were not of anger or protest, but of a strange, haunting grace. "The king is a good man. May God bless him." A single, swift stroke of a French swordsman's blade, and it was over. The love that had remade a nation, that had challenged an empire and created a new church, had written its final chapter in blood. And so ended the epic romance that changed the fate of Europe. But history, with its penchant for irony, had the final word. For the daughter she left behind, the child of that doomed love, would one day ascend the throne. And Elizabeth I would grow to become not just a queen, but the greatest monarch England had ever known, her reign a golden age born from her mother's tragedy. Thank you for watching this journey into one of history's most dramatic love stories. If you enjoyed this, please like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more tales from the past.